дослідження знаходять досить таким складним отримати одразу позитивний відгук та мати можливість опублікувати з першого разу свої роботи, не дивлячись на дійсно високий рівень та якісний підготовлений матеріал. І все це заключається у різній школі написання таких робіт. І саме через це захід, який анонсований та проведений, та буде проведений за підтримки нашого університету, у тому числі доктором Хасратом, лекція, вона має високу актуальність, і дуже сподіваюся, що вона допоможе нашим авторам підвищити свої публікаційні навички та можливості. And for the welcoming speech, I would like to introduce the director of Yaroslav-Mudry National Law University, Anatoly Pavlovich Gateman, for the welcome word. А зараз я хочу запросити для відкриття цього дуже цікавого заходу Анатолія Павловича Гетьмана, ректора Національного юридичного університету імені Ярослава Мудрого. Анатолій Павлович, вам надано можливість виступити. Будь ласка, ми дуже чекаємо на ваше привітальне слово.
Доброго дня. Як мене чути?
Дуже, дуже гарно чути, Анатолій Павлович.
Дякую.
Ми вас не бачимо, а ми вас дуже добре чуємо.
Так, начебто я все включив.
Ми бачимо вашу фотографію.
Да.
Вона дуже гарна. О, так, можливо. Так, зараз ми вас бачимо. Так, ми вас бачимо. Так, будь ласка.
Спасибі велике. Шановні колеги, шановні друзі, в першу чергу я хочу всіх вас привітати від імені багатотисячного колективу Національного юридичного університету імені Ярослава Мудрого. У цей непростий для нашої країни час, зумовлений збройною агресією Російської Федерації, прийміть слова вдячності та побажання миру, добра, безпеки всім вам і вашим сім'ям. Незважаючи на складні умови, наш університет продовжує працювати, триває навчальний процес, продовжуються наукові розробки і, безумовно, особливо хочеться підкреслити те, що зміцнюються зв'язки, продовжуються зміцнюватися зв'язки з нашими закордонними партнерами. В рамках такої співпраці мені дуже приємно представити всім нам лекцію нашого доброго друга, шановного професора Хасрата Арджумейда з надзвичайно актуальною проблематикою, яка, безумовно, на моє глибоке переконання, сприятиме публікаційним навичкам українських авторів у міжнародних виданнях. Вже довгий час наш університет плідно працює, проводить наукові дослідження разом з професором Хасратом. І за цей період було підготовлено надзвичайно велику кількість важливих наукових публікацій та проведено низку масштабних науково-практичних заходів. Мова йде про науково-практичні конференції, семінари, круглі столи, які були присвячені різноманітним напрямкам екологічної безпеки, використання природних ресурсів і забезпечення екологічної стабільності не лише в Україні, але і в цілому межах нашої планети. І, безумовно, така співпраця, вона буде продовжуватися і буде тривати надалі. І я щиро вдячний вам, шановний професоре, за організацію сьогоднішньої лекції, за вашу допомогу і підтримку, яку ви надаєте нашому університету. Глибоко переконаний, що Збройні сили України здолають ворога, і Україна переможе, а Національний юридичний університет імені Ярослава Мудрого продовжуватиме гідно нести високе звання найкращого юридичного закладу вищої освіти в нашій державі. І ще раз хочу подякувати за ту роботу шановному професору Хасрату, яку він проводить, і за ту співпрацю, яку він здійснює разом з колективом Національного юридичного університету імені Ярослава Мудрого. Слава Україні!
Героям слава! Dr. Hasrat, at first I decided not to translate right away because I was orienting that most of the representatives over here are the Ukrainian audience. Я з самого початку не почала перекладати, тому що орієнтувалася на те, що у нас більшість із присутніх україномовна аудиторія, однак я не можу не перекласти ці слова вдячності. So I couldn't omit translating the warm welcoming Dr. Hasrat and the words of the gratitude and immense gratitude that we would like to express from the side of the National Law University, the warmest and the greatest feeling of support which we feel from your side, Dr. Hasrat, still continuing organizing, continuing collaborating with us, continuing helping and supporting Ukrainian scientific community these days. And the participation and organizing of such events, it's of a great feeling of support. So Dr. Hasrat, from the side of the whole University of Yaroslav Mudry National Law University, from the side of personally Professor Getman, we would really like to express our greatest gratitude for you, for our cooperation, and we will be really looking forward to proceeding it, because Yaroslav National Law University is definitely the one that would survive, that would stand, that would develop, and Ukraine will win, and we will continue holding the respected name of one of the best universities, law universities in Ukraine, and going to become even stronger and better on the international area. So thank you one more time, Dr. Hasrat, and we will be looking forward to getting the precious information of yours from your side, the one that could help us all to stand these days, help us all to develop, help us all to get better these days.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. We welcome the Ukrainian audience, all scientific community from more than 28 different universities from Ukraine. Today is really a matter of immense pleasure seeing you, all of you, together on this platform. First of all, I must extend my warm wishes and very warm, for the safety of the Ukraine. The Ukraine has been facing a lot of aggression from the enemies. It is really a difficult time and very hard time when we thought this particular event and this particular lecture. It was really to happen on 9 March. But before that, this country was attacked and we had to postpone this. But today is really a great pleasure that we could realize this particular lecture, particular event today, and we are together. So thank you for joining in this difficult time. This is difficult for everyone. So I will try to concentrate on this lecture from the perspective of how the scientists, how the authors, how these research scholars face the difficulties while composing the research papers or the discussion papers or the review papers, particularly in English language, and targeting the international journals. As you know, we have been operating the journal since 2018, and in two of our journals, the Ukrainian universities are the partners. Yaroslav Mudry National Law University is the partner in the Journal of Environmental Law and Policy. And in another journal, which is Journal of Policy and Governance, the Lviv Polytechnic National University has joined recently. So at the moment, we have been publishing 4 different journals, and we are planning to start the 2 new ones. So cutting short this introduction, you may please read about me and my credentials on the internet. So quickly, I like to start this topic. Yeah. So let me first of all explain that along with this these few slides which I have prepared for the facilitation of my discussion. So I will also explain certain things directly on the website. Along with that, I would be quite enough explaining on the MS Word files, on which we really work practically. So,
Dr. Hasrat, I'm really sorry to interrupt you, but we can see your presentation in the sketch form, so it hasn't been launched. So we can see it with the, yeah, now we can see it properly. Thank you.
No, I was just talking before that. So anyway, so I had to start this. So what I was trying to say that along with these slides and explaining on directly on the website, I will try to explain on the MS Word files on which we receive the papers, and not only we, but most of the journals in the world, they receive the files, the abstract, the manuscripts in the MS Word files. So I will try to explain the things on the MS Word files. So this will be the methodology of this discussion. Now I will go one by one. So as you see that this topic is deliberately chosen, as we have been struggling with the lot of authors from different parts of the world, especially Ukrainian authors submit quite enough number of the manuscripts, but there are the problems with that. So this topic has been deliberately addressed. So let me first apologize in anticipation. Reason being that there may be certain some people may get hurt. Some people may feel that, oh, I have been criticizing. No. Basically, the observations are very subjective in this particular discussion, and they do not mean to hurt or humiliate anybody. Examples selected or quoted are not to target any specific person. So, and moreover, the contexts and the weaknesses which have been highlighted, they are specifically not to criticize the Ukrainian authors or Ukraine as a country. So the observations are largely based on our interaction with the Ukrainian authors since 2018. Moreover, this lecture may be boring because it does not have very good visuals, very good photographs. It is basically to discuss the practical things in writing of the papers. So please do not have very high expectation that this practical lecture will enlighten you on any subject or any technical theme. So this is just basically a methodological aspect of the writings. Okay, so I will concentrate on that. So therefore, I have been apologizing in advance. So what are my observations over these many years is that because of the certain the administrative or the government compulsions or the culture which has evolved in the academics in the country. So Ukrainian norms of publishing in Scopus or Web of Science journals, this actually has a merit as well as a demerit. When I'm saying the demerit, basically I'm indicating that certain authors who are not really coping with this mechanism, they are at the disadvantage. So therefore they have been in the loss. So those who can cope with, then they are really in the merit situation. Because the international journals are mostly in English, there are certain in the Spanish and French too. But English is one of the disadvantage of the Ukrainian authors because of the native languages mostly spoken. For example, in my region where I come from, originally South Asia, where most of the instructions in the universities are given in English. So even in the people commonly speak their own native language, but the instructions in the classes or the academic instructions are usually given in English. So on the contrary, in Ukraine, it is not the case. So mostly the English is not the language of the common instructions in the classroom. So that is one of the demerit or one of the disadvantage for the authors. So those who write originally in Ukrainian or Russian have to pay high to English translate. That is one observation. And how half of the authors translate using Google. So either a help of the translator is taken or a help of the Google translator is taken. So this then the Ukrainian authors, those who originally write in their own language, so they have to rely, they have to depend on these things. Why do these authors translate using the Google? There are the two reasons. I mean, I'm just sharing these common observations. Then I will come to the main core topic. So the translators are actually not effective and accurate due to the technical constraints. For example, the translators are usually having a social science background, or they do have humanities background. But if the translator is dealing with the topic in the veterinary science, or is dealing with the topic in, say, for example, the animal nutrition, then this translator is not very effective in translating certain words or vocabulary. Another reason is that the journals also find errors while editing process. There are not all journals are doing this, but very good journals do all of this, and they find out a high magnitude of the high extent of the errors in the text, written text, or translated text, I should say, translated text. and they still ask for the corrections. And if they themselves do it, so they charge the service charges. Okay. So because the authors pay very high for this process, so therefore what do they do? Ultimately, even if they are getting a translator's help, the journals find out the errors and the mistakes in the translated text. So the author has to pay double. Author has to pay to the translator, and then author also has to hire the service of the journal for this correction service. So therefore, the smart authors do that they simply translate their text by using the Google. They do not pay to the translator, local translators, and they directly submit to the journal, and then they pay to the journal. Instead of paying double, they just simply pay the once. So this is just an observation and our experience too. Next thing is that in number of cases, translators do not have any fault. Original texts are inherently poor and weak. So I'm not just blaming the translators again. In majority of in many of the cases, in fact, the translators have no fault, because the originally written text in Ukrainian or Russian or other language, they are inherently poor. Reason being that everybody is not having equal grip on writing skills. We can be very good scientist, we can be very good teacher, we can be a good orator or the speaker, but we cannot be a good writer. So writing is itself is a skill, and writing is an art. So most of the scientists, they are not very good in writing the texts. Therefore, that is the problem. Next thing is that Ukrainian authors mostly follow their own national style of writing and formatting. So we will talk about it in the next slides. Some authors are rigid and egoist, and hence they do not accept their error. This is another observation. So during our process, we also struggle with many authors when suppose we raise the errors, or we show the errors, but still there are certain, not all, but there are some or few authors who really object, or who really do not accept it, because they think that whatever they have written is correct and final. Next thing is that majority of the authors do not learn from the mistakes and errors they do. They repeatedly commit the same mistakes. Particularly I should say our approach is the empowerment, author's empowerment approach. I will demonstrate how we do the process and how the authors get empowered. So we really try to educate the authors also that these are the errors and you can correct these errors, or this way. I mean, we also suggest the ways. So if the author is intelligent and smart, the author can learn many things, and not. I must say that about 70–80% of the authors who work with us, they learn a lot from our process. Next thing is that illusion of Scopus indexed journals and translators having worked there. I mean, what I mean to say from this point is that this Scopus and Web of Science is a big thing for the authors also. If there is a stamp of Scopus indexed journal, then they think that everything this journal is doing will be correct and will be final. But this is not the case. Not all Scopus journals are maintaining equally good quality of the publishing. I can substantiate this fact with the examples, and I contend this because I have observed myself many, particularly the journals which are published from the non-English speaking countries. So they have been really, not all of them are equally good in maintaining the qualities. So we should not have this kind of the illusion. So, but this was our observation. Next. So in this particular lecture, I will take your next 1 hour for this discussion. Almost half an hour is already consumed. So we will be traveling through this discussion, having the major sections. Number one, I will demonstrate the erroneous, the sample papers having lot of errors, and the sample papers written by the Ukrainian authors having very least errors, very few errors. So I will just demonstrate here. The next section will be what should be the general format of research writing. I think those who are writing already, they already know what are the different formats of research writing, but still we can share, and this also, this is basically on our website also. So I can just quickly pass on and just share this format, different sections and different, headings or subheadings. The next important thing is the journal's specific guidelines and styles. So we will talk about this. Next is the Ukrainian format versus international format. So our journal observation is that Ukrainian format is very much adopted by the Ukrainian authors. Even when they are submitting to the international journals, their papers, they follow the Ukrainian format. They do not follow the international format. Okay. Next one will be the issues in abstract writing. And then we will talk about the writing issues in introduction methodology parts. We will also flag the errors in the body text of the whole paper. And last two things will be related to citations and the references. These are very serious components of a research paper or the discussion paper or the review paper. So the citation and references, we will talk about how they are being presented by the Ukrainian authors. Okay, so let us come to these samples. Okay, so now I close these slides for some time, and I will show you the certain files. So here I have taken these 4 examples of the papers having lot of mistakes, lot of errors. So I will just show you, open this file. This is the shape of the paper which we received. I'm not just flagging the errors in it. In the next versions, I will show you the errors. Okay. So all these papers, A1, A2, then A3, and A4. These are the 4 papers I wanted to share with you, and I wanted to show you, demonstrate you. So on these papers, I will show the too many errors. Okay. So when we do editing process, so we find out the errors, and then we also flag the errors like this. So I'm not going to discuss now, I'm just showing you, demonstrating that these are the different errors. You see, you can see the comments here, the right side. Okay, here, some comments here written. So I will, in the next slide, I will go and discuss with you one by one. I'm just trying to show you right now that these are too many mistakes, you see, here in the text. Okay, you see too many mistakes. I show you another paper here. I show this paper rather. You see this paper, and now you see too many errors. You see, in the composition, in the grammar, in the words, in the technical terms, or in terms of, even in terms of the citations. These are the different citations I show you here. Yeah, here. If you see this part, okay, this one. These are the citations, okay. So I will demonstrate you how what wrong in the citations is, okay. In the next I will just show you. Okay. I'm just new for this this feature. There is okay. Sorry. So these are the this is actually the status of these papers. Now I will show you another set of very good papers which come from Ukraine. So first of all, I show this paper number 2, B2. You see, B2. This is the first draft, but I show you the edited part. Okay. You see this file. In this paper also, in the abstract part, there are many errors, but in general, if you see this text, there are not many errors. Not many. I mean, compared to the previous papers I have shown you, this paper has not many mistakes, not many errors. Okay. So this is just general demonstration how we receive the papers. Okay. Yeah. Coming back. I close this. Well, so I have demonstrated you that we receive these two types, two distinct categories of the papers. One set of the papers are having not many mistakes, not many errors. Usually
Dr. Hasrat, I'm really sorry to interrupt you, but it sounds like that your microphone, can you please maybe take it closer? Yeah, because the sound is distracting.
Okay. Now, tell me.
Yeah, now it's a little bit better.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. So, yes. So these samples I have demonstrated. Now I move ahead. Yeah. The next thing is that the general format of the research writing is this. Basically, this is also on our website. We know that in a paper, we need to have author information first of all. No, first of all, we should have a title on top of it. After the title, we have the author's information. How this information is written in different journals, I mean, you already know about it. Some journals, I mean, the styles of writing author's information in different journals is different. So you can learn from the journal itself. Abstract we have to write an abstract, we have to write the keywords, we have to write the introduction then. After introduction, the very serious part is the methodology or methods. Okay. In the review papers, we usually write the methodology or we do not write the methodology in the review papers. So there are both kinds of the trends. We have published the papers having a very elaborate methodology of reviewing process, how the review can be done, or the review was done for that particular paper. So, but mostly for the reviewer papers, people do not write the methodology or the methods. Results in the review papers, again, the results are not written in the form of the result or discussion. The heading is not that, but the headings in the, I mean, there are the routine headings of the text related to that topic. But usually in the research papers or the research paper, especially where the experiment is done or the field observations are written, I mean the paper is based on the field observation and field research, then research results and discussions are written either separately or together. There are both kinds of the trends. Then we have to have the conclusion. So conclusion is very common. Some people write the conclusion in the form of a heading. Heading, I mean the routine headings of their topic. Recommendations are written or sometimes not written. So it depends on the author what he or she is trying to do. Figures and tables are usually submitted separately to the many of the journals, but some journals like our journals, we accept the figures and tables embedded in the text, in between the text. Then funding sources have to be disclosed. Nowadays, this is the recent trend that the journals ask for funding sources. If you have received any funding for the research or for writing the paper, you have to disclose that. You have to acknowledge the funding source. Authors' contributions are also written in some of the journals, like we always write the author's contributions. Conflict of interest is a very common thing. All the journals want this conflict of interest. Acknowledgement is again optional. References, if you have used the references in your paper, then references are mandatory. Annexures or the appendices may be or may not be. Okay. So this is a generic for research writing format. So you can read about it from any Google source, and we also have on our website. Next important thing is the journal's specific guideline. This is routinely ignored by most of the authors. At least most of the authors we have been receiving the papers from ignore the journal's specific guidelines. I'm not saying that all of the authors are doing that, but many authors are ignoring the specific guideline of the journals. Reason, actually this guideline is very important because each journal has its own style. Whatsoever the journal is, whether the journal is published in UK or is published in Netherlands or is published in Serbia or is published in Ukraine, anywhere we see that every journal has to have a journal guideline. And this is mandatory for the indexing process also, and for registering in different forums. Okay. Yes. So I will demonstrate this journal guideline, and you are aware of the journal guide. You can download. You see website of any journal, and then you will find the journal guideline. Okay. But the point here is that. Point is not that we do not know about the journal guideline. Point is that we do not want to follow the journal guideline, because we perceive that the following journal guideline is a wastage of time, which is actually an exercise of saving a time instead of wasting a time. You are saving the time by following the journal guidelines, not only time of yourself, but also for saving the time of the journal's people who have been executing your text, your manuscript, handling your manuscript. So you are saving the time of everybody if you follow the journal guidelines. And also importantly, some journals reject your papers because your papers are not adhering to the journal guidelines. So they return the papers back, and then they ask, they please follow the guideline, and then only we will accept. Okay. Other than within the journal guidelines, there is another important thing is that the journal's specific styles. Every journal has been using its unique style. And that unique style can only be understood if you read the published papers on the website of that particular journal. Or if the journal is published in hard copy, then you have to read the published articles in the hard copy. So without that, you cannot understand the journal's styles. And I tell you where these styles are. These styles are different in different journals in relation to title, in relation to author's info. I told you different journals present the author's information differently. Then keywords, headings, numbered or not. In some journals articles, you might have seen the headings are numbered, like introduction number 1, methodology number 2. If there are subheadings under methodology, you will find that 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. Likewise, in the results, you will see the heading number 3. But in some journals, you will not see this kind of the numbers. So this is actually the style of the journal. So we have to really understand. If we understand that, then we are really reducing the quantum of the work. Same is the case of the table numbering. Tables are how the tables are numbered. I will demonstrate all these things. Okay, do not worry. It's nothing theoretical, but I'm trying to first explain and then I will show you practically. Figures are also numbered, but how these numbering is done, this is really a matter of understanding from the journal itself. Then important part is the referencing or bibliography. Some journals, like our journals, we use the term references. Many journals write bibliography. There is a difference between the both. Okay, so you can find out the differences. Okay, this is up to you. But like we in our journals, we use references, not the bibliography. Footnotes and endnotes, or both. Some journals are using footnotes, like we use the footnotes. But in some journals, you will find the endnotes. I think you understand the endnotes. Okay, they are the notes just after the references or before the references, in the end of the article. Some journals use both. Then there are certain minute differences in the referencing system, referencing and citations also. Okay, referencing particularly, I will demonstrate you how difference of the styles are. Okay, one journal may have been presenting the reference in one way, and the other journal is presenting in another way. Okay, references are also presented in two formats. Usually, these are the prominent formats. One format is a numbering format. If it is a numbering format, like in the if you go in the section of the references, you will find the reference number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Similarly, if this is the numbering style in the references, then the citations are also numbered. If not, if it is alphabetical order of the references, there is no such kind of the numbering existing, then you will find the alphabetical all references in alphabetical order, and then accordingly you will see the citations also. Citations, you won't find any numbering system in the citations. Okay, so these are the specific guidelines of the journals. Next thing, I just quickly finish these few slides and then I will switch over to the demonstrating to you how the things are there. Okay, Ukrainian format is a very typical format, as we know. We know in the abstract also there are different headings. Within the abstract, there are the headings. That is the typical thing for the Ukrainian style. Okay, in rest of the internationally, we see the abstracts are written in one paragraph or 1.5 paragraph in a concise words, and there is no subheading system. But in Ukraine, abstracts are mostly written in subheading system. I will show you and demonstrate. Then coming to the review of literature. So this review of literature is not written like review of literature. This is something, some other heading I will show you is something else. In Ukraine, it is called something else. So in this particular section, an author has to present on this particular topic different scholars or different authors have written something, you know. So this part has this kind of the elaboration or discussion. For example, I have given this example here on the bottom. You see this one. So here you see that you know, this is a typical style of Ukraine. I mean, it has emerged, it has evolved under certain conditions. So I am not discussing that. I really do not know that. But here, if we compare with the international standard or international style, so we see that these all different citations are incorrect. They are not correct. So I will show you how the citation should be in international styles. Okay. So this is a typical style of Ukraine for writing. So what we do actually, this problem for us as the editor is that when we receive this kind of the write-up, then we really have to work on it. So we cannot accept it. We have to change everything as per the format of the international format of the journal. Yes, sorry. Next thing is the abstract. So I quickly explain here the abstract. So it has to be short, but in many cases, many cases, the abstracts are very long. They are written very long. So I will show you what problems the abstracts do have. And moreover, if you are writing, because this is a standard format in Ukraine, that when you are writing in Ukrainian, if you are writing a paper in Ukrainian, then you have to write your abstract in English also simultaneously. In some journals I have seen, Ukrainian journals, the abstracts are written in English. So following that same trend, following that same habit, the Ukrainian authors, when they are submitting their papers to the international journals, they follow the same trend. What they do, they actually write the abstract in Ukrainian. They write the abstract in English. So the whole paper is in English, but they also have been writing simultaneously the abstract in Ukrainian language. So which is the wastage of time, which is really not desirable. Then there are the certain methods of writing the abstract. So you already know and you already can understand from different sources then how to write the abstract. So it is your job. So we are not going to discuss this. So we will only discuss the what are the errors in the abstracts. We'll show it practically. Okay. Next thing is the introduction and methodology. In introduction, we see that the contexts are unclear many times. Facts and figures are unchecked or not supported by reference. This is a big disease. I should say disease. This is a disease when the figures or facts or some kind of phenomena is written, but it is not supported by any reference. So it looks like the author has written own conclusion, but where the figures have come, where the data has come, there is no support. There is no reference available for that. Then in some cases, we see that muddling happens with parts of the results. So the results sometimes the sections of the results have gone into methodology and methodological part has gone into results. So this kind of problem happens. So this happens when the author is really ambitious, no doubt, and author has been trying to write so more and more, but author has no time for reading the article, written article, second time or third time. So finding the own mistakes or the errors within the body of the text. So this is not receiving the adequate time. The author is just moving very fast because of certain reasons, and author is not really spending time on it. Okay. Repetition is also another problem. And then footnotes and unpopular terms, words are written in, especially the legal terms. So if the legal terms are written, but there is no sufficient explanation about it in the footnotes. Yeah. Similar problems we see in the body text, that in the body text we see the long, complex, incomplete and confusing sentences. This is basically related to the English composition. So even when we write in our own language, then we can commit these mistakes. We can write very complex sentences, we write with confusing sentences even when we are writing in our own language. Forget about English. In English, because this is a foreign language for Ukraine, so particularly the care has to be taken when writing the sentences. The short sentences, the small sentences are better always, and the sentences should be complete. Abbreviations, when abbreviation, this is a norm that when abbreviation is used in the text, body text, very first time, then it has to be explained, expanded in the full. Okay, and when it subsequently repeats in the text, then there is no need of writing the expanded form. But in the first time, it has to. So these are the common errors we do in writing the texts. Okay, the important, very important mistake which I have come across is the use of the pronouns in the first and second forms. Like some authors use we, word we. We have studied, we have written, we have observed. So they present this paper, they write in a way that they want to show the reader that I am writing, we are writing. This is actually inappropriate way of writing. So using we, us, our, you, your, I am, all these should be avoided. Instead of that, the passive voice should be used and third forms should be used. So if during the practical, if this kind of the things come, then I will show you. Similarly, writing the genus and the species, it is basically for those who are writing the biological texts. So in biology, genus and species is written a typical way. These have to be in italic. Okay. So, but many authors do not. They sometimes ignore this. Okay. Writing digits and writing words in the digits. This is also. This is a minor thing, but it is there. Some people also have do the errors while writing the units. They do not properly write the units, like in kilogram or like in meter or centimeter. So there is no uniformity. The issues are of the uniformity also. Somewhere you, for the same thing, you have been writing in meter, somewhere you have been writing in millimeter. Somewhere you're writing in the mile, somewhere you are writing in kilometer. So either it should be in kilometer or it should be in miles. Similarly, if you are writing for the weight, so somewhere you are writing in the pound or somewhere you are writing in kilogram. So there has to be a similarity and uniformity all over the text. Yes. Then we come to the punctuation errors. Use of the comma or numerical in the numerical data. Yes, it is a very typical. For example, in the Dutch style, we write, for example, we have to write 20 and half. So how we will write? In the Dutch style, we write 20, then comma, then 5. 20, comma 5. 20 and half. But in English style, British style, it is written, and American style, it is written 20.5, 20 decimal 5. So we have to see what style the journal is using. For example, our journals use decimal style. We don't use the comma style, because comma style is very, very particular to some countries in the Europe. It is not very globally accepted. Coming to the improper and inadequate citation and reference, this is a common thing. I will show you. When new terms or words or concepts are written, or sometimes the vernacular items are written, so there is no proper explanation. It has to be explained in the footnotes. These days, there is a trend of writing the web sources also. Okay. And if we are using the Ukrainian word somewhere, we have to translate it in the bracket. I will show you many authors write even the full sentences, full sentence, 2 line, 3 line in Ukrainian language, and they are not writing any translation of, because your reader is not knowing your language. Your reader is the international, is reading the English language. So whatever adopted in English globally, that has to be adopted by you also as a writer. There are the punctuation errors and all that. Okay, now I will show you demonstrate you the papers and texts and how what kind of the errors we have. Okay. So I go back to this very problematic articles we have. Okay. For example, yeah, I start from this one. So if this is visible to you, I'm sure, I hope you have been seeing all the things. Okay. So here you see in this particular paper, this abstract is written in a typical format. Okay, here you see, this is the abstract. Okay, this, I'm just selecting this text. This is the abstract, this long, such a long is abstract, and this is a typical style of Ukraine. Okay, here you see introduction, problem statement, purpose, material, methods, results, conclusion. I do not deny that all these contents should be highlighted in your abstract. I fully agree with this, that all these aspects have to be highlighted in the abstract, but there should not be a subheading system. If you are writing for the international journal, it should not be like this. It should be simply like this. Just one paragraph like this one. Abstract. Okay. Yes. Then we have the introduction and body of text. So I will try to explain to you with certain comments. Okay, then you will understand. For example, yeah, I have explained to this one. These things I have explained to you already. I told you that these citations should not be written like this. For example, I just demonstrate here that if we are writing in Harvard style, for example, I just take example of Harvard referencing style. So how to write this citation is, if it is one author, then it has to be written like this, and the year will come in bracket. Suppose it is 1998. Okay. And similarly, if we have the two authors, where are the two authors? Suppose, okay, we make it here. We write two authors. In Harvard style, we will write like this. These are the two authors. In bracket 2020. Okay. In some cases, the better presentation of citations is that when you are also mentioning the page number, that is considered the best citation. Suppose these two authors in 2020, this particular reference which you want to quote is available on page number 13. So you write like this. Or if you want to say that this text is on page number 13 to 15, you write like this. Okay. You will ask why I have deleted this AS, why I have deleted VM. Actually, in the citations, only the last name of the author, which you normally call the surname. Surname is only written in the citation. I'm just giving example of Harvard. In this slide, when I go back, I will demonstrate you the style of APA style also. American Psychological Association style referencing. So APA style is little different. Okay. So here the citation should be written like this. And then, yeah, there are other combinations also of writing the citation. So I will show you on the slides. Here, yeah. And always remember that whatever the citation you have in this text, anywhere, either here in the beginning, or you have the citation elsewhere, anywhere in the text, all the citations must be supported with the full reference, and full reference will come in the end of the reference. I mean, in the last section of the paper. Okay. So here, another comment, like for example, there are the words which are written, but the meaning is unclear. So I have just commented it here, because this word is not available in English dictionary also. That's why we have this comment. Okay. This was about. Yeah. So as I had explained in this slide earlier, if you remember, I said that there is a problem of overlapping, and there is also a problem of repetition. And sometimes there is a problem of this particular section may go to the methodology, but it has come in the discussion or the results. So here the same comment you see, this entire paragraph should go either to introduction or become part of abstract. So I have written it here, this paragraph. So this paragraph, so while editing process, doing the editing, so we keep, as an editor, we keep the entire text, entire paper in our mind, and then we have a grip that if something is repeating in the body text of the paper, then we really have to understand whether this particular section should go elsewhere in other section, or it should be deleted, or it should be removed. So all these kind of the comments you will, I mean, you can observe all these things. So here again, I show you the citation, how the citation is written. So this citation is written, you see, typically again in Ukraine style. I should say that you have to correct this. So the first name, you see, the first name is actually last name. First name, first word is actually the last word, last name, or the surname of the author. So here in the reference, it will be written differently, but here it should be written only like this: the surname only, and again the second author surname only. So if these are the multiple authors, so like for example, in this citation, you see one author, two author, three author, and this is the fourth author. If there are the four authors, okay, in Harvard style, I will explain again in the slides. In Harvard style, if there are three authors, so we write the name, surnames in the citation up to the three authors. One author, two author, three authors. Up to three authors, we write their surnames in the citation. If there are more than three authors, so we simply write the surname of the first author, and then we write et al. Okay. Et al, comma, and then the year 2012. Bracket close. But this et al in Harvard style, it must be italic. But in APA style, it should not be italic. If we are writing APA style, it should not be italic. It should be like this only. Okay. Then we go ahead. This duplication has been already removed, deleted. Yeah, like here I flagged this comment. Any reference to support your this statement about US? The statement is, we can read it here. Here, US is not reported to have developed federal or state policy. This is the statement. This is the corrected statement actually. So if the author is writing like this and claiming that the US is not having this kind of the policy, then do we have any support reference for this, or it is our conclusion? If it is our conclusion, then fine. If it is not, then we have to give any reference. And we know only the citation will come here, not the full reference here. Yes. So these are the mistakes. So now I switch over to another paper where I will show you very interesting paper here. Yeah, this one. Yeah. Yeah, this is really very scientific paper, very hardcore bioscience or medical science, I can say. So this paper is very long, very long. But I like to read the comments for you so that you understand the things. There were so many comments. Okay, the system has removed the comments. I try to. Okay, I try to open these good papers, and then yeah, I will demonstrate from this paper also. Yeah, here, yeah, interesting. Yes. So on this, this is a good paper, although, but I will discuss the things. Something I think, for example, I have written here about the abstract. Okay, this comment. I think you should rewrite the abstract to attract the readers. You have explained the experiment elaborately. It may have repulsive effect. So what I write this comment because this, if you read this abstract, it is very elaborate, no doubt. It is the author has actually explained the experiment very elaborately, very exhaustively within this abstract, which is really not required. Just mention, you hint the mention in one or two sentences about the methodology being used. There's no need of explaining because mostly what happens in the written communication, as we have the human body, similarly, if we consider this the article or any newspaper article or any research article, uh, it its communication process is just like the human being, the body of the human being. Whenever you see the human being, you first see the face. You don't see the human body completely. You first see the human face. The human face is the first thing which is seen by anybody. So similarly, in an article, the first thing is the title, which is read by the reader, followed by the abstract. So abstract is a kind of head, is a head. So if your head is okay, then it is understood that your entire body will be okay. If your head is not okay, if you have some problem in your head, so surely your whole body may be having some other problems. So this is a general perception of the authors. Oh, sorry, readers. So reader write the abstract first. So the point here is that the abstract must be very, very concise, very attractive, appealing the readers so that the reader have the interest in your paper and go into the body text to read about it. Otherwise, if there are undesirable details in your abstract, then the reader will distract. Another comment you see here, mollusk or mollusks. There are the two spellings used for the mollusks, and both the spellings are correct. For example, we write color and color. Both, I mean, only the difference of U. So one alphabet is different when you write color and color, but both are correct. The point here is that you should use two spelling in the text. Sorry, you have used two spelling in the text. It should be one everywhere. The point I want to say is that whatever the spelling you are using in your paper of a particular word, if this word is having the alternative spellings, other spellings too, then you must use only one spelling. Either you use the color, 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 or you use color, COLOUR, color. That is the point. So here also the same thing I have. So I think you have understood this point. So there are many such words which are used by the authors, but they have the different spellings, and those different spellings are correct, not wrong. But there must be a uniformity. Okay, go next. I already told you about the et al. Et al is in Harvard style, it is written in italic. Okay. Yeah. For example, here also this author has done a error, like for here in this, where in this citation, this author has written and, the symbol of the and. Okay, the symbol of and is not written in Harvard style of citations. Here and, full and is written like this. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, for example, the author usually use the words very new kind of the words. For example, this word aerotechnogenic. Aerotechnogenic. I have observed that the Ukrainians invent new kind of the words which are really not available in dictionary also, English dictionary also. So this is interesting thing that many words we see written by the authors of Ukraine, they invent the typically new words which are really not available in dictionary. So this is the same case. Yeah. Yeah, I just explained one important thing here that that is related to the style. For example, how to write the table numbers and figure numbers. Okay, so but this is a very minor thing. It is not a, because this the editors do themselves. That is not a big thing. But like we write the colon instead of dot. We don't write like figure 3 dot. We write like figure 3 colon. Okay. I think yeah, I have explained. Now I will come to the citations and the references. That is very critical part. And one more thing I want to highlight here is that basically here I'm not going to discuss with you how the structure of the sentences is wrong or how the structure should be corrected. For example, the structure of this sentence, or like I have corrected this here and then I have added this text. So this is not really the part of our lecture discussions, because this is really a different subject. Different subject when I say this is basically, this comes under the writing skills. So how you compose the sentence, how you compose or how you beautify your sentence, or how you make it a very attractive and better sentence. So these are all writing skills and writing art. These are the things related to that. So we are not really discussing all these things. So but you can simply have a feeling that these texts are really very intensively read and very intensively edited. So whatever the these errors, and errors are here, this errors in body of text, for example in this paragraph, you see the errors are not only related to the English composition, there are the errors related to the presentation of the fact also, how this fact is presented. What are there are certain errors related to uh, the technical things, because this paper is related to this is on the legal text. I mean, this paper is on the legal subject, so therefore there are the legal aspects in this which have been edited very properly. But in some other paper which are the technical papers, for example, I had shown this paper to you. So yeah, in this paper you see how these facts and the figures and this data have been presented. This has been very intensively checked and very verified how should it be presented. Okay, so these are different aspects. Now I come back to the referencing part, citations and referencing. Okay, here this is very critical, because this is the part where most of the authors, even those who are writing or submitting to us very good papers, very good texts, they have been doing errors in writing the citations, in writing the references. So, for example, in this particular example, I show you this. Yeah, you see this Harvard citation style I have put on the slides, in this particular slide. So you see there are the different combinations. Combination number 1A. In 1A, you see this author's last name, which means the surname of the author, comma 2007 is the year. Okay. In the combination of 1B, in this combination you see, which I already have told you, is the page number is also written after putting the colon. 2007 colon 69. 69 is the page number. And I must tell you that there are certain authors which forget writing this comma, the comma. They do not write the comma. In Harvard style and also in APA style, this comma is important. Comma has to be written while writing the citations. Coming to the number 3, number 2 combination. Here, these are the 2 authors, not 1 author. So how, if there are the 2 authors, then their last name have to be written here, and in between this is the conjunction and. Combination number 3, if there are 3 authors, then it is written like this. First author surname, comma, second author surname, and third author surname, comma 2007. Fourth combination, it is if there are more number, I mean above 3, the number of authors is more than 3. There are 4, they 5, they 10, they 11, whatever. So if they are more than 3, so it is written like et al. Okay. The next one is if we are writing number of citations, number of references. So this all above cases where the only one paper is cited, one reference is cited. But in this number 5, case number 5, you see there are many papers cited. One paper is of Feller, one paper is of Lal, one paper is Ray, one paper is that. So these are 4 different papers have been written here, given the reference. So one paper is et al, one paper is single author, one paper again is multi-author, one paper is 2 author. But what is important in this? The important in this, you see the presentation of all these 4 different references is in alphabetical order. In a number of papers, number of publishers do this mistake. Even publishers do this mistake. Not only the authors do this mistake. When I am editing, I do this mistake that this, if the many number of references are placed as in the citation, then they are not presented in alphabetical order. Another combination, number 6, is if the reference is coming out of the bracket. If the citation is coming out of the bracket, so it is written like that. And what is the last one? So yeah, so the last one is then that the multiple references are cited like this. Okay, so I go to the next style, that is the APA style. So in APA style there is a slight difference. You see the difference is basically in the presentation of et al, which I have already explained. Okay, and Yeah, rest of the things are more or less same. They are same. Okay. Yeah. So is this is the uh, style of writing the citations. So if the author is taking care of writing the citations very carefully as per the guideline of the journal, or as per the guideline of the referencing style, then the work will not be voluminous. Work for the editor particularly will not be very much. Now I quickly explain, because we are running out of time. Quickly explain the references. Okay, examples. I have given the Harvard referencing style examples here. You see this reference number 1 here. You see the reference number 1 is written. It is a two author reference. So the first word here is the surname, and these other names after comma, other names come as the abbreviation. Similarly, the second author, comma, surname of the second author, comma, and then abbreviation of his first and second name. Then in bracket is the year. After that is the full stop. In writing the references, I tell you, 100% of the authors, I say, even me, including me, when authors write the references, you will find at least one or few errors, even in the references written by the best authors. But now our point of discussion here is not those rare cases, but our point of discussion that largely the authors do the mistakes in writing the references. So, and referencing writing is most painful job. Although it is mechanical, it is nothing. It does not require your intelligentsia. It does not compel your how intelligent or brilliant you are. Certain authors complain that, oh, you are just highlighting the very silly things. We are the scientists. We are the professors. This is not our job. This is not our job, and this is not our best production of our talent or best production of our intelligentsia. And I mean, they just complain and they just do the arguments. But the point is that the text is owned and written by the author. It is not written, authored by the editor. Editor has no responsibility of correcting your text. If the editor is doing, well and good. If the editor is raising the points, it is well and good. It is better, always. But it is ultimately the author's responsibility. So writing the reference is nothing a wastage of time. It is very skillful work. It requires your attention as an author. So here, next thing is that in this particular reference, we see this title of the paper will come, and then the name of the journal will come in italic. This name of the journal should be in italic. I'm talking the Harvard referencing style. Okay. After that, the name of the journal, there will be a comma. And I tell you here, the name of the journal can be in abbreviation form. For example, African, you can write AFR full stop. Journal, you can write only J. That is also okay, no problem. You can write full, you can write in abbreviation form. After that, comma, and then this is a typical style in Harvard. Okay. First one is the volume number of this journal, and in bracket is the issue number 3. And after that, there is a colon, and then there is a page number from 109 to 114. Some author can write PP dot, PP means page numbers. And thereafter comes the DOI.
this DOI. For example, yes. Oh, what is this? Yes. So what I'm trying to say, explain to you how the DOI is written and why DOI is important. This is very critical thing. DOI actually is, we all know DOI means digital object identifier. And this system has come after 1998. So mostly the journals are having this DOI account. Our journals do have the DOI account on Crossref. So this DOI is a very unique number for your paper, for the article. Okay, and this is permanent. This is permanent. DOI is permanent. Any website will close down, but the DOI will not close. I mean, as of now, the status is that the DOI will not close. So now I will tell you how DOI, some people write DOI like this. Just DOI in small. Some people write like capital D, small o, small I, DOI. All are correct. And even if you do not write any DOI, that is also correct. If you don't write DOI word, then it is also correct. But it depends on the style of the journal. What style the journal is using. For example, one of our journal is using this word DOI in capital. Our other journal is not using any DOI. Then how to write the DOI? Mostly the people write the DOI like this. 10.100 something like that. This is, I believe, this is the incorrect way of writing DOI. Why? I explain to you. When your paper is published even in the PDF, the web links can be clicked by the reader. If you click the web link, then you will directly reach on the website. If you do not write the full web link, if you are not writing the full web link, writing like this, then nobody can click this and nobody can directly reach to the website where your paper is existing. If you have the full link like this, then this link can be clicked by the reader and the reader can directly reach to your paper where your paper is located. So this is the advantage of this. Now, next thing I will explain here, in one reference, you will see this available online at doc, this accessed on 2 June 20. What is the meaning of this? Meaning of this is that if any reference is not having the DOI number, DOI code, then you should write the web source where that particular reference or paper is available, article is available. That can be a web source other than DOI. If DOI written, that is the best. If DOI not written, then we should write the web source like this, available online at. And why we write the accessed on 2 June? The simple reason is that on 2nd June, the author has accessed this website. And there is no guarantee after this date, the website can close down. This paper will not be available online later on. But on 2nd June, this website web link was working. Therefore, the author has mentioned this date accessed on 2nd June. This is the significance of writing it. Because tomorrow, if the site closed down and this article is not available, anybody can ask the author writing by email then you have given this link, but this link is not working. This is showing error. Okay, so this is the significance. Next thing in this referencing, resting. Another thing is how to write the reference of a book. About three references are from the journals, and writing the book, reference of a book. So in the book, you have to, in Harvard style, this title of the book should be italic. As we have the title of the journal, the name of the journal in italic. In case of the book, we have to write the title of your paper or your not paper, the title of the book in the italic. Okay, and followed by this place of the publication comes first, and then the publishing place. The publisher's name comes after that. So that is the style. So you can know and read about the Harvard style or whatever the style you have been using for the particular journal. Then you really have to understand all this. Next thing, okay, sorry, I have also listed down this IPA references here also. So IPA references, the difference is that differences of this and, basically. Difference of this and. In Harvard, you had seen D dot, P dot, and A and D and then the next author. But here in APA style, it comes P dot, comma, and symbol of the and. Another difference is this, rest the things are same. Another difference is here. This number of the volume is in italic in case of APA style. Another difference is that this instead of column, this is a comma here, this one. So these are the basic differences between the two. So my point is that if you are dealing with, suppose you are dealing with AAA style of referencing. In that case, that is different case. I mean, that is different. You have to see how those references are written. Lastly, we see there is a there is one referencing style is called Oscola. Oscola is used by the law journals, basically. So we are also particularly I struggle. Dr. Evgenia is excellent on this Oscola. She has a grip on this Oscola. So we work together, and then Oscola is really a crazy kind of the referencing system. But that is not only for the references, that is basically for the legal quotes, legal footnotes, legal citations. That is very quite exhaustive and quite comprehensive. But it is the point that the authors, usually those who are having the law background, they understand Oscola. Rest of the authors, they do not. So after the referencing, I just say I already have explained, but I will show you with this. The last thing is that usually the authors also ignore the submission related mistakes, guidelines. For example, just yesterday we had received one paper from Ukraine. I don't know who has sent, but I got the essence that the author has written nothing, only attached in the email one paper, and that paper, and there is no message, no hi, no hello, no dear, no sentence, whether you publish this or whether you don't publish, what you do with this paper, particularly I am sending by this email. So it is because Such things happen because there is a casual approach of the authors. They do not really follow the submission guidelines. Okay, and one interesting thing is the ethical and research guidelines and compliance. In number of the journals, very standard, high standard journals, they follow these research ethics, and they also ask the authors to fulfill the requirements of research permission from the appropriate government authorities from their country. Like if we see Canada, Australia, in these countries, we have each and every university academic institution is having a committee which is called ethics committee. So this ethics committee is basically for mostly gives the recommendations for the research. How, I mean, if the research is done on animals, or research is done using the animal in laboratories, or research is done on indigenous people, then the author have to comply with the research guidelines. Yes. Oh, sorry. So this was my discussions. So lastly, I will show you the journals which we are publishing. If you see this website, you must have seen this website, I think. On this website, there are the 4 journals, and quickly I want to show you. Click this journal. I show you the papers, the look of the papers, and you can also follow. I mean, you can get insights from the published papers. For example, this paper, just download this paper here. And most of the online journals, right, these days, those having the websites, they have their, especially the open access journals, they have the PDF version of the papers. So this PDF version we have, and all these things you can learn from these published papers. Especially the referencing style, it is given in the end. Here, you see, if you read each and every reference, you will gain some knowledge about it. The last page in our journals is for the author's declarations. Here we give the author's contribution. If there are 3 authors in this paper, so what kind of the contributions these 3 different authors have done, and what was their percentage of the contribution. Likewise, the funding disclosure, and then the ethical guidelines. These are the ethical guidelines. These are basically declarations. If somebody has used the animals in experimenting to conduct the research, then this arrive checklist is provided by the author. This researcher has to provide the arrive checklist. Okay, and I will tell you on our journal where this arrive checklist is. It is on the guidelines. It is there. Similarly, lastly, I mean, all these declarations come. Very important feature of our journal is, most important feature of our journal is this. You see here, this one. These 3 items. I tell you, you will not find this exercise by any journal. By any journal, I say. Even the Journal of Springer, or the Taylor and Francis, or Cambridge, or Washington University Press, or whatever, you will not find this practice. And the practice is that we put the review reports, but these days some journals have been publishing the names of the reviewers. Right in the paper, like this paper, they put the names of the reviewers, like we have put the names of the editorial people. Okay, here. So they put the names of the reviewers also, but they do not put the reviewer reports. I have observed in MTPI case, MTPI has put the background files, some background files provided by the authors. Suppose author has provided some files, extra files other than the article, they have put along with this article, but they have not been putting in public domain the reviewer reports. Another thing which nobody is doing, if rarely anybody is doing review reports or ethical declarations they are putting, nobody is putting editing work. What editing work we do? It is here. If you click the editing work, you will find these files. I mean, in the zip files, in the zip folder, you will find all these files. Okay. And these files are these. As I have shown you, edit 1, edit 2, edit 3, edit 4, edit 5. In some cases, okay, sorry. Is my screen visible? No.
Yes, doctor, we can see it.
I'm just concluding. Just give me 2 minutes, okay? 2-3 minutes. I'm sorry, it has gone longer. So this is a unique thing which we do with each and every article. We put all the files here, whatever the background work we have done. For example, in this particular paper, you see, in this particular paper number, this 4, I gave you example. Seven versions of editing was done. 7 versions. But you see this A2 also, A2 7, edit 7. You see here. This is edit 7. Means 7 versions. One version, first version corrected, then second version, third version. Mostly 3 versions are common. Average is 3 or 4 versions. Then in some papers we have to work more than. Yeah, this is the issue. Yes, like that. And then next thing is I wanted to show is here. Yeah, the submission guidelines. Okay, here. Submit your manuscript. So here you see we have put all these documents like guidelines. You see arrive checklist. You see all these declarations, whichever is applicable for the author, depending on the nature of the work they have. So we have put all these on the submission guidelines. So these are the common things which we have been observing and struggling with the authors. So I am done now. I stop sharing. I think I have already stopped. Okay. You see my screen? Hello.
Yeah, we can still see you. See it. Yeah, we can still see it.
Okay. I want to close it. Okay. I want to close. Okay. I done. Okay. Please.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Hasrat. I would like to state on the behalf of the whole Ukrainian scholars community that your lecture was incredibly useful. Even me was noting down something while being on the other side, like a little bit involved in the editing process. Some of the things are always worth revising. So thank you, Doctor. It was incredibly interesting, and moreover, it was incredibly useful. Я зараз від імені всього нашого українського наукового товариства хочу подякувати доктору Хасрату за таку інформативну лекцію та наданий дуже актуальний матеріал, який я впевнена, та мені здається, що мене підтримують всі учасники цієї цікавої лекції, що цей матеріал може бути використаний саме для покращення наших публікаційних можливостей та дійсно сприяти кращому та більш швидкому доступу публікації результатів дослідження української спільноти. Тому що наша наука, вона дійсно є високо кваліфікованою, я так скажу. Однак через різницю між школами, яка існує і завжди відчувається, коли наші автори стикаються з необхідністю публікації в міжнародних журналах, дійсно у нас виникає дуже багато питань. Мені здається, що професор розказав дуже детально. І, можливо, є якісь запитання. Доктор Хасрат, I'm asking the respected audience if anybody has the questions for you. Like, I can be here to help, like, cover these questions in case somebody would like to.
Yes, please.
Якщо у вас є якісь запитання, ви можете їх озвучити безпосередньо навіть українською мовою. Я можу допомогти перекласти. Чи є нашої шановної аудиторії запитання? Okay. I think that in this case, one more time, Dr. Hasrat, we are really thankful for such an informative material, for sharing your experience from the other side, because it's very valuable. And I am sure that in case you have some questions, you can always contact the responsible people. Dr. Hasrat, I am sure that he is very helpful in this case. Moreover, Dr. Hasrat, if I'm not mistaken, this lecture will be recorded. It is recorded, it is being recorded, and will be given for the access of yours if you would like to revise some of the basic materials that Dr. Hasrat has kindly shared with us, because lots of information, incredibly useful one, and I think it's worth revising it. So yes, Dr. Hasrat, am I right? We will have an access to this lecture, right? As we could see from the previous lectures recorded.
It is, you're right.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Available. So if anybody else is interested to put any question, please come forward. Can be a different question from this. Okay.
I think the audience has got lots of information to process, and I think they can come up with some questions once they review it. So we can see from the chat.
Okay. So I think it is because it is late for 2 hours. I mean, it's already 2 hours now. We have consumed more time than expected. People may be tired.
I'm sure that the audience is very grateful. We can see it from the chat that people are sharing their words of gratitude for you. So I would like to thank you one more time, and like the revision of the material would help us to get better, and will help us to.
I interrupt, please. From these all comments, I have got one is the longest. It is written twice. I think it is more or less one comment. Written by Irina. Irina, you have written that
all international journals have, yes, we have already discussed about it. All journals do have their formats, they have guidelines, they have styles, and every journal's styles are different, guidelines are different, their publishing pattern is different. So this is a diversity all across. And but the point is that as an author, how we are serious about it. Suppose our this whole discussion for these 2 hours was how an author can minimize the mistakes and errors in the writing, depending, not only depending, but also conforming the styles and the guidelines of the journals. So it's basically to comply with the requirements of the journals and then increasing the chances of the acceptance. In number of cases, what happens if you suppose write, I have demonstrated you that we do very hard labor. We do it ourselves with each and every paper, whether the paper is written very nicely by the good writers, or it is poorly written, whatever it is. We do 3 rounds of rigorous editing, minimum 3 rounds. If the paper is poor, we do more rounds of the rigorous editing. But this is not the case with all the journals or majority of the journals. This is not the case. Either they will publish your paper with the mistakes and errors, and when the reader reads, finds out the errors and mistakes, or if the journals are like published by very first grade publishers, those papers are rejected. So the point here, point of discussion here is that how to reduce all those things and become a good presenter. I'm not saying writer, but a good presenter of the papers. Because writing, again, I explained that writing again is a skill and art. Everybody cannot be a good writer. It is always not a mistake of or the fault of the translators. Translator will translate the same sentence which you have originally written in Ukrainian. If you are not a good writer yourself, then how the translator will correct your text? So anyway, we have already discussed good things. I remember I forgot quoting. I had one paper, good paper written by one author. She is present here in this forum right now, and her translator was just excellent. I have found only 2 or 3 translators in Ukraine which I found really excellent. Excellent, as if they have written in native English. They have written in native English. So these are such are the incidences we have the experiences of. Anyway, so thank you so much for your time and interest. So this was the Ukrainian show today. Thank you again. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We really appreciate this immense work which you have done for us. Thank you.
Okay, we close this lecture today officially.
Recording stopped.